Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here. And yesterday I was having lunch with my buddies Max and Will, and Max was testing out the OnePlus 5. He was interested in the camera, how it worked, and he started covering up one of the lenses and proceeded to say, hey, this isn't changing anything. Why exactly can I cover this up and it's not blocking the camera? And with that being said, I saw a post on Reddit that got very popular that said, oh, is the telephoto lens not working on the OnePlus 5? So I figured I'd make a video actually showing off when it turns on, when it works, and why it doesn't work in certain lighting scenarios. And that is also true with the iPhone 7 Plus. So I will give you examples of both of these devices inside and outside. So here are the two devices, the 7 Plus and the OnePlus 5 side by side. And on the OnePlus 5, you do have two lenses. However, they are different. One's a 16 megapixel wide angle lens, and the other one is a 20 megapixel telephoto lens. So those are both used differently. Now, to show off what was shown in that video and what my buddy Max was asking me, you'll see here, I'm not zoomed in or anything. What I'm going to do is actually cover up the telephoto lens, which is the one on the right side here, with my finger. So I'm covering it up right now, as you can see. And you'll see, I can still take pictures. My finger isn't blocking the lens by any means. So it was brought up, oh, what does that mean? Is it not being used? Even when you zoom in, and you'll see here, when you zoom in, you can still block this lens and you will see it. So there's a couple things happening here depending on the lighting. And right now, you'll see my screen is kind of freaking out a little bit. And that's good because I am in a very good lighting scenario. Now I'm going to turn off some of my lights and show off what happens if we're not in a good lighting situation. So I turned off my umbrella lights and it's pretty dark in this room right now. So what I'm going to do is block the telephoto lens with my finger. Again, you'll see here's the regular lens and I block the telephoto one and I go to zoom in and you'll see nothing happens. So it is not using that telephoto lens right now. And the main reason for that is because there isn't enough light. There's a sensor that's going to sense how much light's actually coming in. But now when I point it at my window, you'll see it blocks it for a split second because it knows that it's getting a lot of light from that image, and you'll see it's going to try and use that telephoto lens, but I'm blocking it right now with my finger. And so does that mean the telephoto lens isn't working properly? And the answer is no. And here's an example. Here's the iPhone 7 Plus. I'm going to do the exact same thing, just block the telephoto lens. You see I'll creep my finger up to the regular one. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and you'll see I can see everything just fine. It's on 2x. Why isn't the telephoto lens working? And that is because there isn't enough light for it to use. So what it's going to do is use the software digital zoom to zoom in because it recognizes that there's not enough light, so the image is going to be better just using the wide angle lens digitally zoomed in as opposed to using your telephoto lens. So now you'll see I turn my lights back on and now I'm going to block the telephoto lens again, and let's see what happens when I zoom in. You'll see it completely blocks that telephoto lens for a split second there. If I do it again, you'll see it's just blocking it in general because it recognizes, oh, there's a bunch of light, especially when you're outside. It's going to always pretty much use that telephoto lens, but you'll see it's going to try and use it, but I'm blocking it right now, so it's going to go ahead and block that camera sensor. So in summation, as you can see, sometimes the telephoto lens isn't used when you press 2x, and it would kind of be nice to have some sort of indicator on when it's being used and when it isn't. That would actually be a nice little addition other than having to just block the telephoto lens, and you'll see now that it doesn't show up, you know that it's being used because of the good lighting scenario. But overall, do not worry that they have a software that recognizes how much light's coming in and whether to use that digital zoom on the wide angle lens or not. So you'll see, like I said, you can block the telephoto lens right now because it's not being used, but if you do zoom in, it's going to be using it, and then you can go ahead and block it, and you'll see that when it's being in use. And the reason the wide angle lens can capture better images in lower light is due to that aperture. On the wide angle lens on the iPhone 7 Plus and the OnePlus 5, it's an f1.7 aperture, whereas on the telephoto lens on the iPhone 7 Plus uses an f2.8, and on the OnePlus 5 it's f2.6. So that is why in lower light scenarios it really can't capture enough light, so it needs to switch to the wide angle lens and digitally zoom. So again, it's all about your lighting condition in terms of if it's going to use that telephoto lens or not. So you'll see this isn't a good enough lighting scenario, so it's not using it, but now it is because I'm blocking it, and you'll see it covers it on up, so it recognizes how much light, and it switches over to that telephoto lens. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's all based on that lighting scenario. I find outside pretty much is always going to use that telephoto lens. Occasionally inside, if it's too dark, it will not, and it'll just use digital zoom. So that would be it. It's no controversy on the OnePlus 5. You'll see that the iPhone 7 Plus does the exact same thing. So nothing to worry about. The telephoto lens is working just fine. Not sure why that video got so popular. Because it's working how it should be. Again, I would like to see if there's a way that lets you know when it's using the telephoto lens or not, other than the manual test of just covering it up. But for now, that's not the case. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was a little informative in terms of when certain lenses are being used and the lighting scenarios. All that good stuff. Click that thumbs up if you liked it. Click that subscribe button. Full review coming on the OnePlus 5 very soon. Some other videos as well. Stay tuned. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching.